General skills. Every time we start a chapter, you will see a question. Do I know this already question? Are we ready to move on? I do not recommend skipping a chapter if you know an answer, but still it is a good idea to see what you can expect in this chapter. Mike, can you check the POST results? I think the customer has to reset his bias settings using all default options. It doesn't matter if you know or not, I strongly recommend you stay with me. We'll talk about some general skills. We'll start with hardware. POST stands for Power on Self-Test. Every time you boot up a device, a laptop, a desktop PC, a phone, all these devices go through a POST test, Power on Self-Test, a set of procedures. All these things allow your device to figure out, am I really ready to work? What does it mean? I want to make sure that my fan is up and running, there is no problem with my power supply unit, and so on. If there is a critical issue, I should not allow my end user to use my device. I should stop this boot up process and let you know. What's BIOS? BIOS stands for Basic Input-Output System, a piece of software that is designed to control all basic functions. Low-level operating system, something that is designed to help you, again, boot up your PC, boot up your device, just, open Windows, open macOS, start an Android phone, and so on. This is what BIOS is designed to do. Here is an example from a Lenovo Yoga laptop. Well, you can ask, how can I access this screen? In most cases, you have to check your manual. There is no standard for it. In most cases, you press F1, F2, F10, F11 as soon as you power up your device. Sometimes you have a dedicated physical button. Lenovo, they have a physical button. When you power off your device, you press a special button that allows you to access all BIOS settings. So yes, it all depends. Google is your friend. If you're not sure, you can Google. Do not worry. It is okay to say, I don't know. I will come back to you in 5 minutes. In many cases, you don't have to use Google. You will have your own knowledge base, a special article that will allow you to figure out what to do. In most cases, you will find what your customer is asking you to do over there. Well, anyway, so information. This is like a dashboard, something that allows you to figure out what's inside. I can see product name, that's Lenovo Yoga 213. We have BIOS version, because you can update your BIOS as well. Sometimes you have to update BIOS to, for instance, be more compatible with a new hard disk, with a new CPU, and so on. It's a pretty dangerous process. Remember, BIOS is a piece of software at the lowest level. When something goes wrong with this update process, you are really done. So it's not easy to recover. We have board number, CPU. So this piece of information allows you to figure out what CPU is installed in this laptop. We can see a pretty old CPU, i3. Number 4, when you think about CPU, especially from Intel, indicates its generation. So now we have generation 8, 9 of Intel. This one is generation 4. Again, it's good to have a very good idea about hardware and some history. So you can assume this laptop is, well, 7-8 years old. How do you know all these things? How can I learn all these things? The easiest way is to buy a magazine or go online and read a lot of reviews. A screen, a graphics card, a power supply unit, a phone. Go and read a review, see what people say. Buy an IT magazine and see what's inside. Okay, we have memory, RAM. We have 8 gigabytes of RAM or 8192 megabytes of RAM. 8 gigabytes of RAM is more than enough to run almost all applications. Unless you're a gamer, 8 gigabytes of RAM is a standard today. Hard disks. Please note we have two hard disks. The first one is a standard hard disk. The second one is SSD, solid state disk, a really fast flash-based disk. Windows license is Win. Almost all laptops arrive with a license, with Windows or macOS or Linux pre-installed. So in this case, if something goes wrong with my hard disk, I can replace it, use a Windows installation disk, and I don't need a product key. A product key has been in a way coded in my BIOS, in my system board. Okay, we will not talk about all these things in detail. I have spent almost 10 minutes talking about one area. Again, my goal is to show you a starting point. Your job is to get a device, get into BIOS and see what's inside. You go, well, I don't have anything really, so what can I do? Go online and download a manual for a device for a system board. They will show you a lot of screenshots and definitions, things that you can find in BIOS. There is always a way around. I strongly recommend you have a test device. Do you know that you can buy an old desktop PC for like $20? Yes, $20. It is more than enough to just, open BIOS, see what's inside, check some hardware ports, and so on. This is what we're going to talk about in our next lecture. General skills, hardware, ports. There is one question you can ask. Okay, mate, I am not going to work with hardware. Why do you want to spend so much time talking about ports, BIOS, and so on? Again, it's all about general skills. I can give you one example. I remember I was challenged with this lesson by a guy who applied for a job as a web support engineer in a hosting company, a company that is actually responsible for hosting websites. And you know what? He didn't get it. During an interview, he got a laptop and he was asked to connect this laptop to a projector to just, show a few slides. He had no idea which port to use. So they said, listen, mate, we will not allow you to, work with our customers if you don't know what HDMI is. Does that make sense? So let's jump into it. What can we see here? We can see USB ports. We have Wi-Fi. You can connect antennas in here. USB 3.1, which is really fast and really good. USB 3 over here, so all USB ports. Some of them are faster. Gray ports are in most cases USB 2.0, a pretty old standard. You want to see USB in yellow, red or blue. These are much faster. If you get a pretty new device, you can see USB-C, a really small port that is even faster and better. Something like this one. What about this port? What is it? This is a network interface card. This port allows you to connect a network cable and get access to your network and the internet. Finally, some audio ports. You have a port to connect your microphone, line in or out, speakers, and an optical connection if you want to have the highest quality of audio. Here is a small challenge for you. I have USB, HDMI, DVI, VGA, and sound. Can you picture a connector, a cable? Here we go. USB for printers, mice, keyboards. HDMI, DVI, and VGA are ports for your screen, graphics cards. HDMI allows you to send video and audio. DVI and VGA do not support audio output. You can send video only. DVI is a bit better than VGA because it's digital. VGA is analog. And then sound. To close this section, I have a small surprise for you. There is something that is called Intel NUC, NUC. What can we see here? General skills, procedures. One of the things that you will be asked is, please make sure that you follow a procedure. Your job is not to come up with a really unique solution. No, you have to follow a procedure. You have to follow a set of steps to sort out a problem. If you like it or not, you just have to follow it. This is why when you approach a support company or you open a ticket, you receive the same email every single time. You will have a template, you will have something that you have to use to say hi to a customer. Okay, but you have not shown a template, you just said, hi Kate and hi John. In a small company, if you have internal users, that's okay. But if you support external customers, in most cases you will have a template. You will have something that you have to use. Here is a really basic procedure. You receive a call from a client. PIN correct? What's that all about? In most cases, you have to authorize your customer. You have to verify that a guy who is calling you is actually allowed, authorized to use your support. It can be a PIN number, a serial number. In many cases, they have to pay a lot of money in advance to use your skills. It is your job to verify that they can actually open a ticket with you. If you say no, it's not correct, then you refer to another document. You have to be extremely polite. You cannot say, you know what, mate, your PIN is not correct, so go away. No, you will have another document showing you what to do if a client gives you a PIN that is not correct or gives you a PIN that will not allow him to use your services. Let's assume this PIN is correct. You say, is it an incident? We have called everything a ticket so far. That's not really the case. You can have an incident. This means something is broken. I cannot print. I cannot send an email. I cannot open a website. Something is broken. You can have a request for change. A customer goes, I want to update my system. I want to add some memory and so on. We want to introduce a change. You can also have a task. You can be asked to recommend a solution and so on. There is a long list of options that you can have. It sounds pretty complicated, but it is not. You will actually receive a book full of procedures. Yes, a book. You will just follow all these things. This is why when you call a support team, they will say, okay, can you give me 1 minute? They have to check a procedure. It's okay to say, may I put you on hold for a minute? I have to check something. You don't have to memorize all these things. Actually, it is not recommended. You should open a procedure and follow it. If you memorize a procedure, there is always a chance you miss a step. I always refer to a pilot. If you speak to a pilot, they're responsible for your life when they fly you from point A to point B. Do you know that they are not allowed to go through a checklist without a piece of paper? They are not allowed to memorize and say, okay, I press this, and that. No, they have a piece of paper or a computer that shows them all steps, a procedure. Why? Because you don't want to miss a step. So again, it all depends. Maybe they will ask you to memorize all these things. For sure, you should have a very good idea where to start. Are you ready for your next ticket? Here we go. This time, Kate needs our help. She opened the ticket and she needs some advice. She is about to buy a new system board and she is not really sure what ports she can use. Do you remember the first thing? Change your status. It's in progress now, it's okay. It makes sense to reply to her saying, hi Kate, I'm working on it. Okay, that's done. What is her question? Well, she wants to buy a new system board and she's not really sure which port she can use to connect her screens. Okay, so let's open this picture and see what's inside. Let's analyze all of them. On the left-hand side, we have 2 ports for a mouse and a keyboard. Here we have VGA and DVI, yes, for a screen. USB, USB again, network card, audio. You will have something that will allow you to take notes, to create something that you can send over to your customer. So you just label all these ports, try and make it as nice as possible, and it's very easy for Kate to understand what you're about to show. You can use a snipping tool in Windows just to grab this screenshot. You don't have to save it, you can just go to edit and copy this image, because in this ticketing system you can just paste it. So we are ready to reply. We say, "Hi Kate." Paste it in here, signature, and that's it. When you're done, you can change the status again. Everything is in green and we have a happy customer. She can come back to us with some additional questions. She could ask, okay, what is the difference between VGA and DVI? Can I use both at the same time? Can I connect two screens? And so on. Here, she asked to identify these ports, and we've done a great job. Basic commands. We will finish this chapter with some exercises. I want to show you a few commands. I will use a Windows-based device. CMD, ipconfig, ping, and shutdown. When you type CMD in Windows, when you go to Start, you type CMD, you open Command Prompt, something that allows you to execute commands. When you go to Properties, you can play with the font, layout, and colors. It's better for my eyes, so that's why it's white. The first command is ipconfig. The ipconfig command allows you to verify IP addresses. What's an IP address? An IP address allows you to identify a device in your network. It is like your ID, something that allows me to label a device. Why do I need it? An IP address is needed to send data between 2 points. These 2 devices will use an IP address to communicate, to exchange data. Now, let's say I want to send a piece of information to another device. I want to check if this device is alive, if it's up and running. I don't want to start a session, start sending a lot of documents and realize, oh, this connection cannot be established, whatever. I want to verify that my device is alive. I can use the ping command. I can say ping whatever IP address you want. The most popular IP address you can ping on the internet is 8888. This IP address belongs to Google. Its uptime is 99.99%. If you see no reply, this means that your internet is down. There is a special protocol behind that is responsible for asking this IP address, "Are you alive? If you're alive, let me know." And this is my reply. As you can see, Windows has sent 4 messages and 4 messages have come back to me. Now finally, shutdown. It's not a crucial command, it's really useful. The shutdown command allows you to shut down, reboot, or log off a device. It's really cool. I'll show you. You can say shutdown, R for reboot, T for time for 60 seconds, and F to force all applications to be shut down. Now when I press enter, I will see a message saying, listen, your PC will be rebooted in 1 minute. If you change your mind, you can always stop this process by saying shutdown A. How cool is that? So now it just on the other screen it said log off has been cancelled. It's a really cool command. It's something that allows you to reboot, log off, or shut down a device using CMD. If you want to shut down, that's S. You can always Save this and you have a list of all possible options.